Hey kids, welcome to the Honest Wear channel. It's all guitar, all the time. My name is Trent, and I've made it my mission to find these lost, forgotten, neglected instruments. We're going to give them all the love they deserve as we put them back to their former glory, bring them back to life. And this is what this channel is all about. So, it's a new year, new channel. I'm launching this new channel, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of show you what I found last year, just some of the highlights of last year, to show you kind of the direction we're headed, what I'm after, what I'm looking for. So this first introductory kind of video is just going to be a recap, kind of showing you my results of my journeys from last year. And then most of these guitars will have their own videos as I break them down, you know, work on them, sometimes new pickups. We're going to do all kinds of things to them. So without further ado, let's go to guitar number one. Got this guy, got this one in a pawn shop in Lexington, Kentucky. It is a Washburn WI-64DL. I already have one of these in a rose-colored quilt, and I've had it for, I don't know, close to 30 years. Phenomenal guitar. And I always said, if I ever found another one, I would absolutely buy it. Well, it took me, you know, 2+ decades, maybe 3, to find another one out there in the wild, and here it is. Green quilt. Now, there are a few issues with this guitar, and some of those issues are why I got it so cheap. I got this guy for, oh my gosh, maybe $100, maybe. It's actually been chewed on by a wild animal. Hold on, I need some light up here. Oh, that's some light. See the back of that right there? It's actually got teeth gouges where a dog or a pack of chupacabras got a hold of it. The edge of the fretboard is gnawed off. The tuners were corroded, or I should say one tuner was corroded. It's almost like they dipped one tuner in water and the rest of them were fine, but I put new Grovers on there. Set it up identical to the red one, and she plays like butter. My intention was to lightly sand the back of the neck to kind of get rid of some of that animal attack, but to be honest with you, it really doesn't bother me. I don't even feel it. Okay, there you go. That's guitar number one. Found that in the pawn shop. Let's see. Calm down. This is a cool find. This was a marketplace, Facebook marketplace deal. It is a Royce, made in Japan in the Fujigen factory, famous Fujigen factory. Met a guy in the parking lot to get this. He said it was late 60s. My research tells me it's probably more like early 70s, but a very cool little short scale guitar. And I do love the Japanese made guitars. It's got a really ringy and perfectly in tune. It's got a real ringy sound because behind this pick guard is nothing. It's hollow in there. So that was a pretty cool find. Facebook Marketplace. It just reinforces you got to get out there and do the legwork, guys. You got to cruise the marketplace. You got to cruise the websites. You got to look in the pawn shops. You got to look at the thrift shops. Let's see what else. Okay, here's a twisted little tangled tail. Facebook Marketplace find. I actually went to the guy's house to buy this. This is a Washburn stack in a box. Stack in a box. Not so easy to find these days. It's got a power issue. I gotta wire the power coupling up. It's not a big deal. So anyway, the story goes, I went to get that, and while I was there, I started looking at some of his other listings. He had a bunch of listings. He was trying to get rid of some stuff for a lady he went to church with, whose son died. I know, to the son. And I noticed when I was there that he had this guy. You see a pattern here? I do like Washburns. This is a Washburn G5V. 80s, 90s, probably 90s more likely. I'd have to, on the actual video for this guy, there'll be some more detail. I'll do the research. Cool thing about this guy is it's got the Wonder Bar bridge on it right here. It's not a Floyd Rose. It's the Wonder Bar. And there are no springs in this whatsoever. No springs. It's a marvel of modern engineering. I absolutely love it. It's going to be great when I shine it up. Push pull. So I talked the guy into this one for a very, very reasonable price. So yeah, went for the pedal. Got the guitar. It's heavy as a brick. It's got one of those plywood bodies that a lot of the 80s guitars had. You still see that every now and then, but not as much. Like my C.F. Martin Stinger that I have hanging on the wall in there, because that's about all it's good for. Was made of plywood as well, but it's a mahogany plywood. Like the fanciest plywood you could ever hope to have in a guitar that weighs as much as a boat anchor. So anyway, we're not done with that same sale. While I was there, the guy showed me another guitar, and I passed on it, mostly because of the brand name. I was just like, certain things come to mind when you think of this brand name, and I just passed. I was like, I already got a pedal, I got a cool guitar, I don't really want this. A few weeks later, maybe a month later, the guy texted me and said, hey, the lady said she would come down on price on that red guitar if you wanted it, if you're still thinking about it. Passed a second time. No, thank you. None for me, please. But then I started doing the research. I started looking into it. And what we actually had was an incredibly rare, made for 1 year, Hondo Paul Dean II. Paul Dean was a guitar player for Loverboy. And this is the only signature model, like high profile signature model that Hondo ever did. They made this version, the Paul Dean II, and the 2 means it has 2 pickups. There was a Paul Dean III that had three single coils, maybe an HSS. That model actually went into the next year's catalog, but this one was only in the 1983 catalog. That was it. So then when I realized what it was, I got back in contact with the guy, talked him down a little more, and got this guy for a steal. It was just ridiculous. I've got it apart, got it taped up. I'm going to do a fret polishing on it. The body is Sin Ash, not just ash, Sin Ash, which a lot of high-end furniture is made of. Look at the grain. It's a beautiful guitar. And I kind of like the oddness of the horns. The horns are kind of flattened off, almost has that Parker Fly squareness to the horns. But anyway, that just goes to show you guys, you never know what you're going to get into. I went for a pedal, ended up with another guitar, and a month or so down the road, ended up with another guitar that is really a rarity. All right, moving right along. We gotta get through this. Don't want this video to be forever, but I do want you to get kind of a really good idea of what I'm looking for. Let's see here. Okay, this was another Facebook Marketplace find. I've got to put a string on. I actually broke an E string on this guy. I can't remember last time I broke a string. This is a Schecter Damien Elite. Really sweet playing guitar. The guy advertised it on Facebook Marketplace as a Hellraiser, which I think he had 350 on it, and it was a Hellraiser. I was like, sign me up, let's do that. Met the guy in a parking lot, and he opened the case, and immediately I was like, dude, this is not a Hellraiser. Good guitar, but not a Hellraiser. So I talked him down even more. Talked him down. Got it for, I don't know, under 300. Really love this guitar. I play this guitar just about every day. Got to get that string put back on it so I can play it some more. But as you can see, I don't have a shortage of guitars. There's always something here to play. Funny story about that one. When I'm closing the case, putting everything back in after we made the deal, there was a 1/4-inch audio jack, no, 1/8-inch audio jack in there. I said, "What's this for?" He goes, "Oh, wait a minute. Something else comes with it. I forgot." Gets back in his truck, pulls out a headphone case. It was a set of Bluetooth PreSonus headphones. And after I got home, I looked them up. $150 for those headphones. And he was like, "These go with it?" Okay. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. So you just never know. You never know what's going to happen. But I will say this, disclaimer, if you're doing Facebook Marketplace deals, meet in public, always around people, because, you know, it's not as bad as it used to be on Craigslist. Craigslist was really sketchy. But yeah, protect yourself. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh, here's a good story. Okay, so I have levels of wear, right? We're at the Honest Wear channel, so we're all about the wear. I want to see honest wear. So you have pristine guitars, which are brand spanking new. Just under that, you would have like new guitars that are actually owned and played, but they're taken really good care of. They're just like new. And right under that is where I live, in the honest wear spectrum, which is huge. It's everything in the world can fall into the honest wear category. Under that is, I call it the beat to hell category. Under that would be FUBAR, effed up beyond all recognition, and then under that would be wall hanger. This guy, when I got him, was in the FUBAR channel, FUBAR category. It was absolutely toast, messed up beyond all relief, all recognition. So I bought it for $35. It started life as, what was this? Dean Evo. Was it a Dean Evo? Yeah. Okay. Dean Evo. Sanded it down, and it was the first one in my burnt series that I've been doing, and turned it into, honestly, one of the sweetest playing guitars that I have. I've still got some wiring to do. Still got some guts hanging out. But just the way it plays is just ridiculous. So that goes to show you, don't count a guitar off because it, or count a guitar out because it looks terrible. A lot of these guys look terrible when I got them. But if you have a little bit of skill, if you know kind of what you're doing, you can make them into something cool. I'll do a video on all my burnt series guitars. There's been 3 so far. Smoking the Bandit guitar, and then there was the Cthulhu guitar that I just did for my nephew, his first guitar. Here's a cool find this year. This is a Ibanez. Love me some Ibanez. I'm a child of the 80s, so you know Ibanez is right in my sweet spot. This is an Ibanez RG7, 7-string, Floyd Rose, all the bells and whistles. This one is from '99. 99. So, 26-year-old guitar. It's got some honest wear, and this is what we're talking about, honest wear. Look at it's got dings, it's got scratches. You can tell that this guy has been played and loved. Um, Made in the Fujijin factory in Japan, so this is Japanese made. Really high quality guitar. I don't play a lot of 7-string, but I really should since I have this beauty sitting around. I got this one in a pawn shop. I'm trying to remember what I paid for her. 125, 150 at the most for that guy right there. They still make those, but that being a Japanese made one from back when I think that was when Korn, that was kind of their signature deal, and they still do them. But that was a rare find. Very cool. What else is on this rack here? Let's see. What else is on this rack that we haven't done? Okay, here's just. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, guitar videos, and being a child of the 80s, Michelangelo Badio was always somebody that I watched and was impressed by because he's super fast, ridiculously fast player. These days, he has been all about sawtooth guitars. And he talks about them all the time. The band he plays in, MAB, the bass player plays a sawtooth bass, the drummer plays sawtooth drums, and he plays sawtooth guitars. So me and a buddy are on our way to see Primus in Asheville, and we stopped in a pawn shop, as one does. Any road trip is an opportunity for a guitar safari, right? And this guy was hanging on the wall. And I was like, you know what? I keep hearing about Sawtooth, so let's just, why not? Less than $100 for this guy. So I just want to see what they're all about. And to be honest with you, it's been hanging on the wall for almost the entire year. I haven't done a thing to it. One of these days, I will get, that's on my list of things to do. I will get going on that guy, and I don't know, might change pickups, might do a number of things to it. Let's see where we at. We're moving right along. Let's go with this guy. Found this in a thrift shop. Yeah, thrift shops you can find guitars in every now and then. This is a 1973 Yamaha FG200. Had one owner its entire life, and the guy passed away. He has played the absolute crap out of this. It's got dings and nearly a hole right there. It's the back of the neck has capo marks all over it. If you can see that. The daughter didn't know what to do with it, so she donated it to that thrift store, and then now she's mine. Very old example of the FG200 sweet playing acoustic. Another example of you just never know what you're going to find. Let's see. Let's stay with the acoustic theme. Same thrift shop. This is a Firefly 12-string that still has stickers on the back of the tuning pegs. Don't play a lot of 12-string, but didn't have one in my collection, so why not? I might get in the mood to play some REO Speedwagon someday. It's got some issues with the electronics. It's got the Fishman preamp, the Precis 2 system, but a really, really nice playing guitar. Again, thrift shop find. Might have paid $150 for it, maybe. Okay, this is something that I normally wouldn't have bought, but sometimes you kind of roll with the circumstances, right? So there's a pawn shop that I go to all the time. Built a good relationship with the guy that works there. I've bought numerous guitars from him. I go there one day and he's not there. Some other new guy sitting behind a counter. And I'm like, where's dude? Where's Jimmy Bob? He said Jimmy Bob went on to greener pastures. He moved on. So I introduced myself to the guy. I told him what I'm about, what I do, what I'm looking for. And they really didn't have anything that day that really jumped out at me. It was like, oh, gotta have that, or good deals. But I needed to establish the relationship with the new guy. So this was an icebreaker buy. I got this guy for less than $100. It's a Austin Gold Top Les Paul. It's pretty. Yeah, it's cool. I have an Austin Telly that a friend of mine gave me, and it is one of the most awesome, sweetest playing guitars I've ever had. It's been modified. It's got Seymour Duncans in it, and a few other things have been done to it. So I knew Austin's had good bones. So it's an icebreaker. I'll do something with it. I will say this though: the worst fret ends I have ever felt on a guitar. Right there, I'm practically slicing my fingers off as I run them up and down there. I don't know. I'll do something with that one day. Maybe I'll route it out, triple pickups in it. Do an homage to our dearly departed Ace Frehley, maybe with that guy. Don't know, but it's in the project pile. Speaking of projects, sometimes you end up with things. Another guitar I would have probably never bought. This is an Epiphone SL Les Paul model. It's got some dings and wear. This guy came in a package deal with there was an amp and a whole bunch of other accessories, and it came with it. So I was like, the amp I've already passed on to my nephew, and the accessories. There was stands, there was strings, there was even a drum pad that I passed on to my niece. A lot of stuff, so it was a good deal. So I've got that to work on someday. Don't know what I'll do with that. Let's see. Let's keep moving. Let's some of them, and keep in mind, guys, this is just 2025. This is what I've found in 2025, and we are barely into the new year, and I've already picked one up this year. Actually, that guy right there. But we don't even want to talk about that. Just don't pretend it's not there. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. I'll block it. There we go. You don't know it's there. Okay, so this was a Telecaster. I actually worked on this deal for a couple of years. This thing hung in a pawn shop that I visited regularly. There's the neck. I call this the disaster caster because it is an absolute mess. Whoever built this, it's a custom build. All the parts are, internet sourced. The neck is absolutely beautiful, but take a look at that nut. Take a look at what they did to that nut. It's gouged out. Whoever had it tried to change the nut and absolutely destroyed the upper end of that fretboard. Fortunately, I don't finger my fretboard up there, so I think I'm going to save this neck. I'm gonna put some resin in there just to level it up. Maybe color some resin and fill it in there. That'll be a video on its own. But anyway, after hanging in that shop for a couple of years, I finally talked them down to a reasonable price, and all the hardware that I took off of it was well worth that price. So that's one that's in the works. All right, a tale of another pawn shop. I found another pawn shop near where I work up in Virginia, and everybody said they had guitars there. So I went to visit one day on my lunch hour, and I go in, and the place, it's nothing but guns and archery, hunting. That's what this place is all about. It was maybe 2 guitars sitting on stands. So I asked the guy, I said, buddy, I heard you guys have guitars, but is this all you got? The guy said, oh no, those are in the other building, the other building. I was like, I'm intrigued. Can I see them? He said, yeah. Took me over there. It was an entirely other pawn shop that you could tell nobody has been pawn shopping in for years and years. It was dark. There's no air conditioning. No, just when you walk in, you tasted the mold in the air, right? So we go into this room, and there's guitars down one side of the wall. There's guitars hanging down the other side of the wall, and they have been hanging there for who knows how long. ever since the father gave up that part of the business, and the kids now are all about hunting and archery, and they don't give a rat's ass about those guitars that are dying. When I got this guy, this is a late 80s, early 90s Hammer Slammer. There's the neck for it. Pretty cool find. It was missing a couple little pieces, parts. Got it for $99, hanging on the wall. In the video on this, you'll see how nasty it was. I had to clean mold and crud that had caked over on this thing, corrosion. It was disgusting. So I got that guy. I go back a while later, I got nothing to do one day on lunch. I'm like, dude, can I get in there again? Because, I had seen a few things in there that I might have some interest in. And then on that trip, we found this guy. This is a Dean Z Jammer 2 from, I want to say, still in that late 80s era. Really cool guitar. It's in the works. It's a plywood body. Because they did that a lot in the 80s. I've seen a lot of 80s guitars that had that plywood body. So yeah, another cool find. Don't think I paid $100 for that guy either. So kind of a side mission for me is to save as many guitars from that musky dungeon of a pawn shop that I can. There's another Hammer Slammer hanging on the wall in there. There's quite a few other things. So maybe next time I go, I'll actually wear a camera or something, and we'll get an inside shot. All right, we are closing in on the finish here. Things you don't see very often, and things that if you see it, you have to get it right. This falls into that category. This is a Floyd Rose Flying V, not just Floyd Rose on the bridge, but it's the brand. Floyd Rose, the brand. Was never a high dollar guitar, but these are becoming super rare and collectible. You will see in the wild or on Reverb, wherever, eBay, you'll see the Strat versions of the Floyd Rose and some other. I think it might have even had a Telecaster version, but now that I said that out loud, it sounds stupid. Maybe not. But this guy right here, the V, very hard to find. I snagged this out of another pawn shop. I saw it on their website. Surf the pawn shop websites, guys. I find a bunch like that. If I'm doing nothing, surf the websites. Saw that guy on their website. Went to go get it, and it was gone. I was like, oh, I missed out. So then weeks later, I'm surfing the website again. There it is. What the hell? So I go again, and sure enough, it's there. I didn't pay hardly nothing for that. That was a guy I had a really good relationship with, and had bought a lot of guitars. I can't even remember what I paid for it, but it was very little. Very, very little. Let's see, what else? Talking about surfing pawn shop websites. Here's a good story about that. Okay, so one of the pawn shops I go to all the time, a couple towns over, I'm surfing their site, and I see this guy. This is a Ibanez RGA 72QM. Okay, new out of the box. Probably $1,000 guitar. They had it on their website. It was $299. I think it was $299, and I was like, yes, please. Well, let's go. So I drive over there. Sure enough, it's still sitting there. I matched, I pulled up the website and matched the serial number. It's the one that was on the website. I take it up there. And then the lady's like, that'll be $750 or whatever it was. And I was like, but that's not what you advertised. She was like, whoa, that's insane. But she double checked it. She double checked it on the website, found out that I was correct, and she honored that price, guys. $299 for a $1,000 guitar. This right now is probably my #1 guitar. The guitar that I go to pretty much every night, sitting in my office. I will play this guy every day. It's like butter. It's got active EMGs. It's just stupid good guitar. But that's another example of you got to do the homework, kids. Do the homework. You'll find some cool stuff. All right, here is Harley Benton SC 550 plus EMGs. Got active EMGs. I'm not a pickup snob, and I'll be the first guy to say, you know, it's just wires wound around magnets, but there's something about active EMGs that really, really sound great. You know, this guy right here, it's an LP style guitar. I think new, you can buy these now new on the Thomann website, this version or versions of it, like $400, something like that. I paid nowhere near that. Yet again, this is another pawn shop find. 125, I think is what I paid for this guy. 125 bucks. And over the years, over the last 40 years or so, I have owned high dollar Gibson Les Pauls, thousands and thousands of dollar guitars, and people are gonna be screaming blasphemy. I would put this guy up against any of those. It plays like butter. It sounds amazing. When I get in the mood to just play some old school, dirty ass rock and roll, this is the guy. But yeah, 125. Stupid good deal. But it's because I got my ass off the couch, I got my butt in the seat of the car, and I went looking. And that's what you got to do, guys. You got to look. You can't just sit at home surfing the web, and you know, I mean, yeah, you'll find gems on like this guy right here. Still can't talk about it. Still can't talk about it because it's 2026. All right, couple more to go. Let's see. Just recently went on a road trip to a funeral, and over a 3-day period, I hit 9 pawn shops. 9. And I bought 0 guitars. They were either, because it's the end of the year, they were either out of inventory because Christmas, I guess, or they either were way overpriced. I hit a couple pawn shops that you walk in, it's like, wow, I can almost buy that brand new for that same price. So 9 pawn shops struck out. On my last day, I stopped at a little guitar shop that I've been going to since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. This guitar shop used to sit on a hill above my grandmother's house, and as a little kid, I would climb that hill and go in there. And I'm pretty sure the old people were really annoyed that there was a kid running around in their music store. But it's been around that long. It's moved locations a couple times. Stopped in and found this. Not a great guitar, and this guy's got a lot of honest wear. This is a Silvertone Paul Stanley Apocalypse, one of his signature guitars. It's got a lot of honest wear on it. It is beat to crap, but I figured with the retirement of Kiss, it was probably a good investment. And you can find these on the interwebs. I don't know, $300-400. But it may have been a little bit of that. Well, this is my 10th spot I've stopped, and I haven't bought anything. I gotta buy something. Maybe that played into it. I don't know. One final guitar, and this will be kind of a theme here. Would be another reason you buy up the cheaper guitars, right? So, being a child of the '80s, always wanted a Carvin, but they were super expensive, ridiculously expensive. They're all custom. You can't go to a store and just buy a new Carvin. You had to order it from them. You had to customize, your tuners, your woods, your electronics, all that stuff. they have basic styles, but then you picked, you know, what you wanted as far as the type of the pickups, the all the accoutrement. Accoutrement. It's just fun to say. Um, so I go into Guitar Center, which I don't deal with Guitar Center a lot. Have nothing bad to say about them. They've always treated me well. And I saw this guy hanging on the wall, and they had $1,000 on it, which in my mind, not bad, not a bad price at all. And it's in really great shape. But you know, the more you guys get to know me, you'll know that there's no way in hell that I'm going to pay $1,000. It's just not in my nature. So I started thinking, I've got so many guitars at the house that I'm sure we could work something out. So I went home. I got 6 guitars together that I didn't really play much, didn't have a whole lot of interest in. I mean, it's not bad guitars. There was a, let's see, what was it? There was a Ibanez SA or Z or SZ. There was a Jackson JS24. There was a Leo James Tempest that my wife bought me for Christmas a couple years ago. There was an IYV ISSY model, great guitar. There was, what else? There was a Jackson 7-string. I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, there was a Harley Benton PRS kind of looking guitar. All good guitars, all played great. I'd been through them, set them up and everything, but they were just, you know, they were hanging on the walls. I didn't play them much. So I was like, well, let's see what happens. I took all 6 of those guitars and ended up doing an even swap, 6 guitars for 1, and I do not regret it at all. Ended up with one of my dream guitars, new back in, this is probably early 90s. It's almost impossible to date these things because they don't have serial numbers, and they were all custom ordered. But I'm going to say this is probably early 90s. Probably $3,000 for this guy back then if you bought it new. And she's mine now, and she's Kentucky Blue. She's beautiful. But that's it, guys. That's my 2025 acquisitions. You can kind of see what I do, how I do it, where I do it, and with who I do it. It sounded really weird. But the gist of it is, guys, if you want to find these cool gems, these deals, these steals, you got to get out there. You got to do the legwork. You gotta ring the bell. You gotta make the call. You gotta respond to Facebook Marketplace. And you can end up with some really awesome stuff. That was 2025. Most of these guitars will have their own videos. I just got to find time to edit the footage and show you guys what they're all about. We'll get into the guts of them and tell more detailed stories about them. I can't wait to see what 2026 brings. Like I said, I've already acquired one this year, and I will say this: I rarely ever buy a new guitar, but yeah, I bought this one new. So if you like what we're doing here, you kind of like the idea for this new channel, do the like, subscribe, ding the bell, whatever you do, all that crap. And I will make every effort to bring you guys some good content. That's it. See you in 2026.